Hi guys, this is my new channel. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button below. Yeah, so this is my first video. I've actually wanted to do a video for a long time, but I never really knew, how to do this, and the reason why I now finally got the idea to put out a video because of what I've been through lately, and I just wanted to share my testimony, and I'm sure that many of you who will watch my video will be blessed from it. And yeah, so I just wanted to to make my story public. Where do I start? Well, if you don't know me, my name is Tammy. I'm 28 and I am a mother of two beautiful children, and I have very much faith in God, and I always put God first, and I just wanted to share with you my experience I had recently, and it just, for me, it was a complete turnaround. It just helped me to grow more in my faith. And so long story short, basically, I've told you before in the beginning, I have two children, and I had the chance to get pregnant again. So I was actually expecting a third one. First, I was actually very overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do because I wasn't really expecting it. After some weeks, I got used to the feeling. Okay, I'm gonna expect another one. Obviously, I prayed about it, and I just left it to God. And I also have to mention that God is talking. I don't know, maybe you can relate to it, but sometimes God is talking to you in different ways. In my situation, for example, He's talking through my dreams, and He actually, like, I've had dreams already about it a long time ago, that I'm gonna get a third child, but then I also had another dream where I was seeing myself in an ambulance, they were taking me to the hospital, and I had an operation, so I saw myself in that dream. I don't really know details, so I don't know exactly what happened in that dream, but I do remember that there was a dream about where I was in the ambulance, transported to the hospital, and it was quite serious, and I had an operation. Just want to say on that point that if you have like dreams, because you will know if that is from God or if it's just like a dream, but sometimes those dreams come even repeatedly, like they repeat itself, if you know what I mean. So it's always good to pray about it. So whenever you have a dream and you don't know what it means, just pray about it and talk to God. Because what I did, when I had all those dreams, I basically, I had made the mistake that I didn't pray about it. I didn't ask God, okay, why did you give me that dream? What is the meaning of that dream? What do you want me to do? So I had all those dreams, but I basically ignored it, and I just didn't really give much attention to it. So yeah. So basically, what happened is that I got pregnant, and first I was overwhelmed and I didn't know what to do because I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm a single mom and with 2 precious kids. And obviously, if you're a single mom and then you have another way on the way, you're overwhelmed. You don't know what to do because you're a single mom, and but then obviously I remembered that I had a dream before, that I was pregnant and give birth to a 3rd child. So I was thinking, okay, that was the dream now coming true. Probably, one of God's plan, what He had in my life. So, basically after that, I was, it took me some time, but I got to this point where I was like happy and kind of excited for the baby. So yeah, I can definitely say it wasn't easy, because it was unexpected, and I had all kind of emotions, and yeah. Well, anyway, I came to a point where I accepted it and got used to the feeling that I'm gonna get a 3rd child, and I was actually excited, and my kids were excited, and we're already preparing that they're gonna have a small baby brother or sister. Especially my daughter, she was so excited. Yeah, but then one day I remember I was making dinner for the children, and we were all sitting down having dinner. It was on a Tuesday, and Tuesdays I have also I have prayer meeting with my team from church, and I remember that I was making sure that I was ready at that time when they called me. So I was finishing the dinner, and then after the dinner I felt like it was quite like I felt something like that something is coming out, like if you know what I mean. So I went to the toilet, and and then I felt, and then I saw like a brown discharge coming out, and at that point I was so scared, because normally with my other pregnancies I've never had any brown reddish discharge. That never happened to me. And obviously your friends and family, they will tell you, oh, don't worry, there's nothing to worry about, it can happen in pregnancy. But you know your body, and the little voice in myself was just saying, no, something is wrong, like there's definitely something up. It's not normal. But obviously I tried to calm myself down, and I remember I called 111. I called the doctor, and but they just said that I should observe it, and as long as I don't have any pain, there's nothing really to worry about. So I said, okay, well, maybe it's really nothing, maybe it's just, normal. So the next day, my midwife, I had like a telephone appointment with my midwife. So she called me, and then immediately I told her what was going on, and she didn't hesitate. And then she immediately referred me to the early pregnancy unit. Early pregnancy unit is for those who have symptoms or worried about their pregnancy, because normally you will be seen, or you will have a scan around maybe 12 weeks, but in some cases, such as mine, you can have an early scan. So so she referred me there, and then 3 days later I had the appointment. It was on a Friday, and I went there. They checked me, and they did an ultrascan, and when they're doing the ultrasound, normally they talk to you and say, oh yeah, there's the baby, and oh, everything is fine, and normally also they turn the screen to you so you can see it as well, but it wasn't like that. So basically they were just like 5 minutes past, like 5 to 10 minutes, they did the scan, and it didn't say anything, and I was like, excuse me, like, what's going on? Can you tell me anything? But they didn't say anything. And then after about 5 minutes, I was like, okay, let me just say something, because I'm getting quite uncomfortable, and then so I asked the doctor and said, okay, can you see anything, or what's going on? And then they said, oh, well, no, we cannot see any pregnancy. And then I was like, in that moment I already knew, okay, something is gonna happen, like this is not right, because normally you can see, even if I'm just 5 weeks pregnant, and at that point I was supposed to be around 8-9 weeks, and for them actually to say that they can't see any pregnancy, then in your instinct that something is wrong. And so obviously they try to calm you down and say, yeah, you can speak to the nurse after, but I kind of already felt, okay, something is up, something is definitely going wrong here. So they took me to the waiting room again and said, okay, now you have to wait for the nurse, to talk to the nurse, because obviously they said I can't say anything, I have to talk to the nurse first. So so I waited for the nurse, and then I spoke to her, and she said, like, they can't really see, like they don't really know what's going on. All what they basically gave me was just like a leaflet saying pregnancy of an unknown location. So it could be like 3 reasons. Like the first reason could be that it's maybe too early to see on the scan. The second one could be miscarriage. The third one could be ectopic pregnancy. And obviously, you're hoping it's just too early to see, but like I said before, I was supposed to be 8-9 weeks, and I remember when I was pregnant, like the first pregnancy I had, you could only see it I was 5 weeks pregnant, and you already could see it on the scan. So I was already, deep inside, I knew that something is definitely going wrong here. But they sent me home, They just said like, okay, we have to do a blood test, and then 2 days later we have to do a blood test again, and we just have to observe it. And they did mention that in case I'm getting any pain or any cramps, or if I faint or whatever, then I need to call 999, and then obviously they need to check it. But yeah, obviously you don't you would never think that, you know, something bad is gonna happen to you, you know. So yeah, then after all that I went home. It was a really long day for me, and I was kind of tired and stressed. And I remember I had my last meal around 6 o'clock, something like that. And you know, normally after I had my meal, I always like have like a little yogurt after or something. But I wasn't, like, after I had that meal, I wasn't really feeling hungry. I was like, you know, I was very tired all of a sudden. I wasn't really feeling well after. So I thought, okay, maybe I just need to rest, you know, maybe I just need to sleep because I had a long day. So yeah, so I put my children to bed, and then I went to bed as well. And around 9 o'clock, all of a sudden I started to have cramps and like really bad tummy pain, and they became so severe, like they became really, really bad. Like I was sweating, I had temperature, I was even shaking. The pain was so bad that I was thinking, oh my god, if this doesn't stop, then I don't know what I'm gonna do. But you know, in that moment when I started to have cramps, I kind of, you know, knew, okay, you know, something's happening right now. But still, I had hope that, okay, nothing is wrong with the baby and everything is gonna be fine in the morning. So you know, I had, you know, worship on my phone, and I was just, you know, praying and just hoping that, you know, those cramps, this pain will go away. But unfortunately, the more time passed, the more the pain become like painful. Like it really got to, like, it was really getting worse basically. So I couldn't really sleep, as you can imagine, because the pain was waking me up. And I remember that at 3 o'clock in the morning I woke up and the pain then stopped, and I was just so thankful. I was like, okay, thank God, you know. So I had like maybe 3 hours of restful sleep without more pain. And then I remember 7:30 in the morning, I woke up again with so massive cramps, and it felt like almost like contractions, you know, when you about to give birth, like really contractions. And you know, I had even pain in the lower back, like really, it was really similar to contractions. And I also had the urge to poo. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just that I need to poo, and maybe, you know, that's the reason why I have cramps. And you know, so I went to the bathroom, and I remember I tried to go to the toilet, but I couldn't really make it, because the moment I was up, I all of a sudden felt very, very dizzy. And after a few seconds, I, like, you know, the moment when I felt dizzy, I was like, okay, no, I need to go back to bed. But unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the bed. I wanted to go out of the bathroom, but then before I even could make it out of the bathroom, I just felt like my system shut down. Like I couldn't hear, I couldn't see, and I just saw black, and I just passed out, like I fainted, and it was really bad. And then at that point, when I passed out, I was like, okay, you know what? There's definitely something wrong. I need to call the ambulance, you know. So immediately when I got back to myself, I went back to my bed. I remember my daughter was next to me, and she was like half awake and half sleeping, and I could see in her face that she was just like, oh, what is wrong, mommy? Like, she was really concerned. And yeah, anyway, I called the ambulance, and I told them what happened. So that came after 5 minutes, and so basically they came, they checked my blood pressure. Obviously, you can imagine my blood pressure was very low. I looked very pale, and they even gave me like gas, you know, for the pain, because I was so much in pain. They then decided to take me to the hospital to make further checks, and I remember they because I don't have any lift here in my house, so they had to take me downstairs with a chair. That was definitely an experience. I was really scared. I was holding myself, and I was like, please, I don't want to fall. But yeah, so everything was really quite bad. And I remember when they when I was in the ambulance, and in the car, and I was in so much pain, like, I just wanted the pain to go, but unfortunately, it was just getting worse. I wasn't really myself, because when you're so much in pain, you're not really yourself. They put me to the hospital, and they did several tests and blood tests, and checked my blood pressure, and asked me several questions, like what exactly happened. And then I told them the story, and told them as well that I was at the early pregnancy unit the day before, but I couldn't really, see anything. I was so much in pain, you can imagine. I had so much pain, so bad. They had to give me morphine to cope with the pain. And many people, like, I'm sure many people, morphine, if you have morphine, like, the pain is like really so much, like, because morphine is a really strong painkiller. So they give me morphine through my veins, and they did several checks, and then also they did I remember after they gave me morphine, they gave me yeah, they did like a scan, but they didn't really, like, they did a scan there where you normally do it, but they also did a scan on the side. And then I think this is how they kind of find out that, I remember they said like there's too much fluid there, and that they thinking that I'm bleeding from the inside. So, you know, they just wanted to make sure. So they told me after 4 hours they decided to do an operation, an emergency operation. And at that point, you know, I was just like, oh my God, you know, I was so shocked, because I don't like operations, you know, and there's always a chance that things go wrong and you won't survive it, you know. So I was really scared. I was like, oh my God. And I remember the whole time, like, I didn't really have the strength to pray, but I was just saying, oh my God, Jesus, help me, you know. So yeah, so yeah, they did the scan, and then because of the condition and how I looked, like, because my blood pressure was just consistently low, and I looked very pale, and just of like my condition wasn't improving, so that's why they decided to do an emergency operation. And then they explained everything to me, you know, how they will do it, and they will explain. And then, you know, I had so much questions, because I don't know, like, okay, so they're gonna do an operation, so what's gonna happen to my baby? Like, are they gonna save it, or what's gonna happen? Like, I mean, I kind of, you know, thought, okay, maybe it could be an ectopic pregnancy, but I was hoping that it was not the case. So I remember they were explaining to me that they will, like, put a camera inside and check if my fallopian tube is ruptured, and if it's an ectopic pregnancy. And I remember they told me if it's not an ectopic, they will just leave it and then just see what was happening, or what was causing me to faint, or whatever. And then they explained me as well, but if they see something, they will obviously remove the fallopian tube, and obviously the baby. You know, it was just so much information that I couldn't really comprehend it, you know. I couldn't really understand what was really going on. I was just hoping, okay, they will save the baby, you know. So yeah, they put me then to the operation room, and yeah, and then it just took maybe a few minutes until they put me to sleep. And I just remember someone called my name, like, basically I felt very tired, and then I just heard voices, and then I was completely gone. And then after I woke up, I was so because obviously I had a general anesthesia, so you can imagine how I was gone. Like, you know, the nurses and the doctor, like, they called my name and told me to wake up, but I just couldn't wake up. I didn't have the strength. I was like, oh my God, please let me sleep, I'm tired. It was horrible, man. I was gone. I was completely gone. And I think it took like maybe half an hour to an hour until I was fully, like, awake from the operation. And you know, I didn't even have pain first. The pain came later, when I was conscious, because before I wasn't really conscious. I wasn't really myself, so I didn't really feel anything. but the pain came later, and they give me then another dose of morphine, and it was the next day, because the doctor who operated on me, he had to go after, so he couldn't really speak to me. So that's why he came next day to speak to me what was really going on. So you can imagine, I had an operation, and after that I was still unsure, do I still have my baby or did I remove it? Like, I mean, I remember I spoke to one doctor, and she kind of said, like, I think they were all like a little bit unsure. They really didn't really say much, but obviously I had already, like, I felt already, okay, I probably lost my baby. And so anyway, the next day the doctor spoke to me, and the doctor who operated on me, and she said that, yeah, I had an ectopic pregnancy, and my fallopian tube was ruptured. So basically I was bleeding from the inside, and I was very lucky because I could have died. I don't know if you look it up, because ectopic pregnancy is very life-threatening, so not everybody can survive it, and especially when you're bleeding from inside, it's very dangerous. And unfortunately I was bleeding from inside, but thank God they could save it. They could save me, and the operation did go well. Everything went well. Obviously I lost the baby, and they had to take it out. And right now I just have, because normally you have 2 fallopian tubes, but right now I only have 1, because the other one was ruptured, so they had to remove the whole thing. So yeah, it was quite bad. It was really bad, and I just thank God for saving my life, because I know it is only God why I'm still here and talking to you guys. It could have gone wrong. It could have cost my life. So I can definitely say, since that experience, my life just changed. I always had a good relationship in Christ. I always prayed a lot, and but I never really took it so serious, like, but since then, since I almost lost my life, I was just, yeah, that just changed my life so much. I started to think differently, like how I saw my life before. I just see it differently now. All the things what bothered me, they don't bother me anymore. I'm just grateful, and I'm thankful to God for every moment I can spend on this earth. I thank Him for saving my life and giving me a second chance, and I'm very sure that he because sometimes you ask yourself, why me? Why would God let that happen to you? You never think, that those bad things will ever happen to you. But sometimes, God has His reasons why He lets certain things happen to you. And I can already say that what happened to me, obviously, was a bad experience, and I almost lost my life, but I can say that I'm more stronger than before. You probably heard about the thing where it says what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I can definitely confirm it. What doesn't kill you makes you even stronger. And with God on my side, I have really overcome it, and He has given me strength where I was weak. Even after the operation, I remember I was feeling so weak. I was feeling very unwell. I couldn't really eat. I didn't have the strength to eat. I couldn't really drink. My body was very weak and couldn't really heal, and I was having all those kind of symptoms, and it came even to a point where I was feeling so unwell that I thought I have to go back to the hospital. And I remember the fourth day after the operation, I was feeling so unwell. I really felt like as if my blood pressure was down again, and I was just so weak. And I had I remember I had cell group. I don't if for those of you guys who don't know what cell group is, cell group is also kind of a prayer meeting where you gather together and pray. And this is every Wednesday. So I never really, I've told you guys in the beginning that I have prayer meeting on Tuesdays, which I always, put in my calendar, and I always attend. But cell group I didn't really take serious. I wasn't really participating in that. But then, when I was feeling so unwell, and something just told me that, just join the prayer meeting. So it was the first time I joined them, and I remember, and that's it was really hard for me to be present in that meeting, because I was just having so much challenges, health wise, and I really thought, oh my God, I thought I need to go back to the hospital. I need to call the ambulance again, because I was really feeling so unwell. But then I just cried out to God, and I just prayed for healing. I prayed, and I opened my mouth, and I just declared healing over my body. I also sang the song, I don't know if you know the song, You Are My Strength, and I sang the song. I worshipped Him. In my pain, I worshipped Him. In my pain, I prayed. In my pain, I believe that I am healed. And then, in that prayer meeting, they then also prayed for me as well, and prayed for my healing. And in that moment where I started to open my mouth and declare healing over my body and pray about it and worship Him, I already started, not immediately, but I already felt, okay, something is shifting in my body. I already felt that the Lord is already starting to heal me, and it was such an undescribable feeling. And I remember, after they prayed with me, I went to the balcony, and I remember it was a little bit raining, but not that much. And I just went out and I just looked in the sky, and I remember God saying to me, "My child, your faith has healed you." And in that moment, I was so relieved, and I felt, I was still a little bit, weak, but I felt already much better. And then obviously, they prayed for me, and later, I just had to share it with them and tell them that I feel much better and I don't have the symptoms anymore, what I had before. So I can definitely say that, God is a miracle working God. He can heal you. All what you need to do is just to believe and to declare it. And the power, you heard it maybe most of the time, many times, that the power of the tongue is very powerful. So what you speak will come to pass. And I've learned, in my experience, that if you just speak it, he will grant it to you. You just need to believe, you need to have faith, and you just need to speak it out loud. There's so many times that I just opened my mouth and I declared things, and immediately it happened. So before, I knew, okay, there's the power of the tongue, and but obviously I didn't take it serious. But since I had no choice, since I was battling with my life, I was like, what can I lose? So I just started to declare things over my life, to declare healing over my body, and I was instantly healed. I feel so much better now. It's now exactly 2 weeks ago since I had the operation, and I feel so much better. I feel so much better, and I just thank God, for healing me, for always being there for me, and for never leaving or forsaking me. He's always there. He's watching over us. And whenever you think that maybe God is not there, no, He's always there. There is not 1 second that He will not watch over you. He's always there, and He knows your heart desire. He knows, and He will never give something to you you cannot handle. And I can definitely say that He has been there throughout the whole time I was going through, throughout all this difficult time. He has been there, and He's given me strength where I needed it. So I just want you guys to, I want to encourage you guys to never lose hope, never lose faith, because there's a God in heaven who watches over us. He will never leave. He will never forsake us. He will never give us what we can't cope or what we can't handle. And with Him on your side, you can conquer, and you can conquer everything. You can overcome everything what comes your way, because He will fight your battle for you. You just need to walk with God. Just walk with God and be in agreement with God, and everything will come to pass. So I really hope that this has blessed you. This is my first testimony, and I pray that there will be many more testimonies which will come. And yeah, I just hope that it has blessed you and it has encouraged you not to give up, because there's a God in heaven. Always remember, there's a God in heaven, and He loves you. He loves you so much, and He's always there for you. Don't forget that. So yeah, that is my story, and I'm just very excited what God has planned for me and my life. And I just have another way of thinking, how I think about life right now. And for me, I appreciate every moment in my life. And you should too. You should also appreciate every moment in your life. Every day you wake up, it's not, sometimes, there are people dying every day, every second even. And, when you wake up, it's not like, it's not, how can I say it? Don't take it for granted, because tomorrow is never promised. In fact that, that fact that God woke you up again and again and again is, the only reason He always wakes you up in the morning is because you have a purpose. You have a purpose, and you need to fulfill this purpose. I believe that the reason I'm still here and the reason God has saved me from all this is because He has a purpose for me. He has a plan for my life, and I still haven't fulfilled it yet. And that's why He decided to save my life, And you can think the same thing, if you're still here, if you're still breathing. You can be rest assured that God has a purpose for you. He has a plan. So start asking God, what is your plan for my life? What is your will for my life? What do you want me to do? Because every one of us has a purpose on this earth which we need to fulfill. So, it's not about what we want, but what God wants for us. So always remember that we're not living for ourselves, we're living for God. And our life is in God's hands. God will decide when the time, when our time on this earth is finished, So yeah, so I hope this has blessed you and encouraged your faith. And yeah, I'm sure there are gonna be more videos of me coming, where I can share my testimony. And yeah, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. And remember, God's got your back, and He's always with you, and He will never forget you, He will never leave you, and He loves you very much. God bless you guys. Bye.